Yep. Thank you.
Because we're in a river, it's hard because then I went to school in one
On
and
the
then
side.
it's like
Yeah, Lachi is one I hear most often. But yeah, we are a bit on a...
quite a few of them.
Yeah. And also, if you have a patch, there are sheets over at the desk with the basics of roller derby. Because we've got quite a few people that have never seen a game before.
That's great. We'll also keep it basic then.
Yes, usually.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So yeah, there's a cheat sheet if you want it.
Yeah.
And also if you want to pump our local, if this looks fun, get in touch with Mildura Roller Derby League. We've got loads of programs. Although we had 10 new people at last term, and then a few drop off, but then 7 new people this term. That's great. It's awesome.
Oh, it's right here.
Take your screen away from you. It's not an error. It's just I just click no, and now you can see the YouTube chat and.
Oh, you're amazing.
Good morning, Derbyverse. We are so excited to be in sunny Mildura. Welcome to round 2 of Statewide Stampede. Firstly, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we skate today, the Latchi people, and pay our respects to elders past and present. My name is Harmon Miranda. I have travelled 6.5 hours to be here today. I am joined by...
Butterfly.
Ooh, big voice, little body. Floods is one of our junior players down from southeast Melbourne, and we are so excited to be commentating this first game today. We have a mashup team of Northeast Roller Derby with Westside Roller Derby called the Breaking News, playing our team Regional Victoria, which is made from many regional leagues in Victoria. We're going to quickly run through our roster. Our Northeast Westside Roller Derby League is playing in black, and we have 162 Florence the Machine, 174 Nuclear Force Out, 19 Double Whammy, 21 Bangers, 433 Temper Tantrum, 45 Jack Rabbit, 531 Smiling Assassin, 81 Detention, 95 Kesika Pow, 96 Raw Power, and 104 Sharp Cheddar. And skating for Team Regional Victoria we have
106, The Mad Spider. 111, Starry Night. 12, Delusional. 142, Mama Mayhem. 171, Honeybee. 1994, Tickle Me Hell No. 212, Chaotic Pet. 31, Griff. 444, Pins and Needles. 777, Rocky, 999 Corey.
And of course, our heartfelt thanks to all the officials and police that make this possible today. Without them, we would not be able to play roller derby. On our officials roster today, we have Abby Norma, Cyclo, Evil K, Crystal, Kilohertz, Donna Kebab, Bearskin Bruiser, Crucio,
Gary, Beck, Crush, KTKO, JR, Blizzard, Goose, and Bonnie Jovi.
So, if you are new to roller derby, you can grab yourself a cheat sheet from the front desk. If you fall in love with roller derby today, Mildura Roller Derby would love you to sign up. So we have both teams eager to start. Our countdown to Derby has expired. Hey Bloods, who have we got lined up there on the jammer line? So the jammers are the skaters with the stars on their helmet, and they are the one that can score the points.
We have Honeybee and Temper Tantrum.
So Honeybee for TRV and Temper Tantrum for News. We heard a whistle. This is a good sign. Rolling whistle, 5 seconds. And we have TRV taking that back line. Tripod staying at the back there, holding back to the tantrum. But we do have our TRV jammer out, or with lead jammer status. This is a strategic advantage. It gives TRV the power to call the jam off before the maximum 2 minutes have elapsed. Beautiful work there by TRV. Straight down the outside line goes Honeybee untouched. Gesturing with their hands under their hips multiple times means they are going to call off the jam, get their 4 points, and stop News from getting any. Score is 4 to TRV, north, east, west side, 0.
We have for jam Pins and Needles and Jack Rabbit.
So Jack Rabbit using the toe stops down the inside line, but it is Pins and Needles who is successful. About half a track in front of Jack Rabbit. The pack does speed up though, trying to keep their points, just like your body is a point, trying to keep that away from the jammer. Pins and Needles knocked to the outside by Flo. Told to call, but I do think Jack Rabbit has stolen some points. 1 point to TRV in that jam, 3 points to News. And we have TRV leading, 5 points to 3.
Macatron for TRV.
And Smiling Assassin for our News team. And this is our first lead jammer status for Westside. Smiling Assassin exiting the pack on turn 1. Just over half a track behind, we have Macatron. TRV taking the frontmost position in the pack as Smiling Assassin enters. Teammates come through, do a little bit of offense, and we get a full 4 points added to the News scoreboard. We have a lead change. Breaking news leads TRV TRV, 7-5.
Jamming for TRV is Honeybee, and jamming for News is Temper Tantrum.
So this is a matchup that we saw originally. And we've had Temper Tantrum knocked back to the inside and recycled back, but now through and awarded lead jammer status. So if you get knocked off the track, you must re-enter the track behind anybody that was in front of you when you left. So if you see somebody get knocked out and then the person that hits them running backwards, that's to take them backwards around the track and reduce the ability to score. So one scoring pass complete for Temper Tantrum. Honeybee now out of the pack. Eligible to score some points. However, Temper Tantrum calling that before Honeybee can enter the pack. So that was a giant 7-point jam for Breaking News, bringing them to 14 points. TRV remaining scoreless on 5.
Jamming for TRV is Pins and Needles, and jamming for News is Jackrabbit.
So it looks like we've got a 3-jammer rotation from the whole 5 jams that we've watched, but we are seeing the same jammers going out in the same order. Jack Rabbit this time getting lead, sliding down the inside line on one post up backwards and getting their full 4 points. We do have some points on the board for TRV as well though. That looks like another 2 points for TRV. So 18 points to News, 7 points to TRV. So we have our third expected matchup. It is...
Smiling Assassin and Macatron.
Yeah. Bit of a tumble in the pack there, and it is Smiling Assassin exiting the pack first. So that first lap, or that first traverse through the pack, you either get out past everybody safely and legally and are awarded lead jammer, and that's that strategic advantage, or you just complete your initial pass and you're free to score on your next pass. So Smiling Assassin has been through for their first 4 points, Macatron exiting the pack, completing their initial pass. Pack speeds up again. This is about keeping your points as far away from the jammer as you possibly can. And Smiling Assassin calling off midway through the pack, so denying TRV any points. 2 more points to News. No points in that jam to TRV. News on 24, TRV on 7.
Jamming for TRV is Honeybee, and jamming for News is Temper Tantrum.
So, both jammers exiting the pack almost at the same time. We do have TRV with the lead. Pack speeds up. TRV trying to jostle for those front positions in the pack. We do have one of our Breaking News blockers heading to the penalty box for a directional block. So in roller derby, we're only allowed to hit in that forwards direction. Yes, colloquially known as derby direction. So this now will be a pack advantage to TRV. 4 white blockers, 3 black blockers. Who's jamming?
For TRV is Pins and Needles, and for News is Jackrabbit.
So we are seeing these repeat matchups. I don't actually have the stats at my fingertips, but it'd be very interesting to see at the end of the day what percentage of the time each jammer got lead and and how much points they scored against each other, because it's literally a head-to-head. And that is Pins and Needles. Oh, that is Pins and Needles heading to the penalty box with a cut track penalty. So a cut track penalty is the result of being knocked off the track and returning in front of somebody that was in front of you when you left, or potentially the initiator of the block, because they get a superior position by knocking you out. So yeah, we now have what we call a power jam, which is one jammer on the track. So we can see that our breaking news blockers are trying to keep our TRV blockers separated, not let them form up into that sort of tripod position, which is one of the strongest blocking positions we've found in roller derby. And Pins and Needles has returned from the penalty box. So Bloods, when you go to the penalty box, how long do you spend there?
30 seconds, 20 sitting, 10 standing.
Yeah, so we sit for 20, stand for 10. And then we're free to come back, continue playing derby. And how many times can you go to the penalty box before you're not allowed back on the game? So yeah, 7 trips to the penalty box before you foul out of a game. Some great blocking there by Lady Killaton at the back. Making Jack work hard for those points. Still 2 more added on the board. That was a giant jam for breaking news. 12 points added, bringing breaking news to 36. TRV on 7. So Bloods, how long does a game of roller derby go?
An hour.
And what? So how's that broken up?
30 minutes each half.
2 30-minute halves, love it, love it. So that was just a quick official timeout we had there to do some track repair. What other timeouts do we have?
Official timeout and team timeout.
Love your work. All right, who have we got jamming?
Smiling, Assassin, and Macatron.
Yeah, Smiling Assassin successful again, but Macatron closing that gap. Pack again speeds up. Both teams able to form a bit of a defensive configuration. Well, I'm hearing some penalties. So at the end of that jam, we did have a full 4 points for breaking news, no points for TRV, and we've lost 1 TRV blocker to the penalty box. And on the jammer line we have
Temper Tantrum and Honeybee.
So this time breaking news taking the rearmost position in the pack off the start line. Something that we commonly see, the less blockers you have, the closer to the front you set up. And that is Honeybee smiling as they survived the last line of defence, Florence the Machine. And we now have a power jam. Honeybee, TRV jammer, only jammer on the track at this time. Bit of offence there from Corey at the front of the pack. You may have just heard a no pack called. So we define a pack in roller derby as the largest group of blockers from both teams within 10 feet of each other. So 2 skaters falling down in the middle, which is a natural destruction of pack. So a no pack is called and everybody is responsible for reforming that pack. And you want a pack because if we don't have a pack, we're not allowed to help each other, we're not allowed to block each other. And roller derby becomes very boring without a pack. Oh, and we have our breaking news jammer returning from the penalty box, sadly replaced with Honeybee from TRV in the penalty box. One, 4, 2, attempting to hit out. are going to have what we like to commonly call a jammer bounce situation. We do have a special rule where, with no jammers on the track, roller derby becomes quite boring. And so if we have one jammer head to the penalty box while the other jammer's already there, they only spend the same amount of time in there. So if jammer 1 sat for 20 seconds, jammer 2 will then sit for 20 seconds. All right, we have points. It looks like 4 of them went to TRV, 3 of them went to breaking news, and we also have the TRV jammer returning to the penalty box. That's a fun sound. Okay, don't do that again. Alrighty, we have this magical unicorn of a moment where both jammers are in the penalty box at the same time. And as we said, roller derby, very boring without jammers. So, we have temper tantrum released, and honeybee only has to sit the same amount of time that temper tantrum sat. So that's a pretty quick release straight after. When you go to the penalty box, if you were lead jammer, you would lose that status, but if you start the jam in the penalty box, you are still eligible for lead jam status. So that means that temper tantrum is still eligible for lead and has been awarded and comes back around to score some points. Honeybee about 3/4 of a lap behind, with the pack all congested up on turn 2. Temper knocked to the inside, decides to call it to ensure that Honeybee does not score any points, and 1 more point added to the breaking news total. All right, so we spoke about timeouts before. How many team timeouts does each team get?
3.
And do you know how long a team timeout goes for?
A minute.
Perfect. All right, who we got jamming?
Pins and needles and Jack Rabbit.
Oh, is it pins and needles? Double check that number for me. No, it is. The scoreboard's wrong. You are correct. It is pins and needles up against Jack Rabbit. Jack Rabbit is out and your lead jammer for this jam 12 of period 1. But hot on their heels, we have pins and needles. Pack speeds up. All teams vying for that front position. Oh. Jack Rabbit being told to call by their bench. Wait till they get out the front of the pack, which allows TLA to get a sneaky 3 points. 4 points added to our breaking news score, bringing them to 50. 3 points added to TRV, bringing them to 14. We are through our first quarter of roller derby today. We have a team timeout to Team White, and as Bloods has already told us, oh, I heard them say, what?
It was black, not white.
If you look at the scoreboard, see that little dot flashing? Those 3 dots represent the team timeouts, and that's a TRV timeout.
But I heard black.
Alrighty, so we talked about team timeouts. We've
Yep.
had official timeouts. What's an official review? Okay, well, how many official reviews do you get in a game?
2, 1 each half.
Cool, and what happens if the officials agree with your result?
Well, an official review is that if you have like a question, or say you have someone in the penalty box and you want to get them out,
Yeah, so you're clarifying a rule or a decision that's been made.
and if they agree with you, you get another one for.
Correct, you get to keep your official review in that half if you get it, if
But-
they agree with you.
But if you get it wrong, you just lose it. It's gone. Bye bye.
Correct, if you get it wrong, you just lose it, it's gone, bye-bye. So a team timeout, you can do what you want. You can be talking about strategy, you can be just having a break and a water break. You might be talking about what you're going to order tonight at the team dinner. And the good news is the period clock stops when we have a team timeout, so you're not wasting any game time when you call your team timeout. All right, who have we got jamming?
Smiling Assassin and Macatron.
This would be a great game to look at the stats just because of the consistency in the jamming lineup. So we have Breaking News taking that sort of rearmost position in the pack. And TRV did hold the front position, but as we've sort of discombobulated all the things. And we just saw something that is very specific to the relationship between jammers and pivots. So the pivot is the skater with the stripe on their helmet, and they've kind of got one special job, and that is that they can take the jammer star and become the jammer if the jammer decides it's time to hand it over. So we had a star pass in that previous jam. It gets the point scoring mechanism out of the pack faster. In this instance, we didn't get any points for it, but 4 points to Breaking News, 54, no points to TRV, 14.
We have jamming, pins and needles, and temper tantrum.
So neither team seeming to prefer the back or the front in the starting lineup. We seem to see that mixing up quite a bit. And we do have our TRV jammer pins and needles out. They have a 30, 40 foot lead on temper tantrum. Breaking News speeding that pack up, trying to get the frontmost position. Hit out to the inside there by Flo. So Breaking News there deciding to speed up the pack, which is a very sensible thing to do to try and keep your points further away from the jammer. But then you've got to weigh that up against how quickly you can reform your blocking configuration and have success at speed. So TRV did get the full 4 points then in that jam. No points, calling it in time. So Breaking News did not score. 54 plays 18.
We have Macatron and Jackrabbit.
Ooh, is this a change-up? So our pack spreads out around that first turn. And Jackrabbit is out and lead jammer. Macatron are not very far behind. This is a really close game when it comes to getting our jammers out. TRV tripod at the front. Bit of O there by 2-1 bangers. And that allows Breaking News to get their full 4 points. All right, Bloods. How far in front is Breaking News to TRV?
40.
Oh. And who's up on the jammer line?
Smiling Assassin and pins and needles.
So Smiling Assassin battling a tripod at the rear of the pack. Pins and needles through, manages to dodge that last hit of Florence the Machine. Always a very scary person to be facing at the front of the pack, just because they're so successful in the blocking. Absolutely lovely human being, very formidable on track. Oh, and we have pins and needles, knocking Smiling Assassin down, giving them that little bit of real estate they needed to get into the pack. And that was 5-5-5. Rocky heading back to do a little bit of defense on their own, slowing down Smiling Assassin even further. TRV getting 2 points, but Smiling Assassin sneaking one in at the end. 59 to 20.
We have Temper Tantrum and Lady Kiloton.
Oh, so we have an official timeout there for some more track repair. I think this is the first time we've seen Lady Kiloton out jamming. Track repair complete. Our head ref signals to our jam timer, rolling whistle please. And we can restart the derbies. So breaking news at the back there, but Corey for TRV able to provide a little bit of offense. And although Lady Kiloton was almost through, we do have Temper Tantrum from Breaking News declared lead jammer. Lady Kiloton is now out and clear. Corey now joined by Mama Mayhem and teammates, able to knock out and draw back. So the jam is called for 4 points on the board for Breaking News, 63 to TRV's 20. Crush, could we have you crush? Crush. Just checking in a jammer score for anybody online that wondered why I was yelling crush in the microphone.
We have Macatron and Jack Rabbit.
So yep, it's flipped up again. We have that TRV tripod at the rearmost position in the pack. And Jack Rabbit is through. Thought they had a penalty, but able to step back on the track because that was obviously somebody else's. And Rocky at the back of the pack, slowing down Jack Rabbit. And then reintegrating into the tripod. Very pack aware. Little bit of a piggyback there for Jack Rabbit to get past the last TRV blocker. And Jack Rabbit calling it before the TRV jammer is able to enter the pack. So another 4 points on the scoreboard for Northeast West Side Breaking News. Team Regional Victoria sitting on 20.
We have Smiling Assassin and Honeybee.
So West Side on that rear line this time, not West Side. Breaking News on that back line. Oh, some amazing edge work there by our jammers. So strong, taking some big hits and staying in bounds. We do have Smiling Assassin declared lead jammer and coming around for a scoring pass. And it is Honeybee heading to the penalty box. So it is a power jam for Smiling Assassin. So the pack slows down. TRV moving into that front defensive position. Breaking News wanting to get in there and break them up. Hit out and draw back there by Corey. So Smiling Assassin has to recycle. So Smiling Assassin calling it with the TRV jammer in the box. So they will definitely have an advantage off the start line. And it looks like we also have a TRV blocker in the box. So there will be a pack advantage and a jammer advantage. Both a blocker and jammer advantage to breaking news.
We have temper tantrum.
Standing all by themselves. So breaking news getting in there and trying to separate the defensive formation of TRV. And we had a no pack declared there as both groups of blockers separated more than 10 feet. And looks like we had a destruction of pack penalty or a failure to reform penalty. And so it is another power jam to breaking news. Breaking news doing some more coordinated offense. Very successful there at breaking up the TRV tripod and taking them to the outside, leaving the inside line clear. This time a sweep from the outside by the breaking news blockers. And now this jam officially becomes the highest scoring jam of the game. Oh, another destruction of pack there on turn 2. And we are losing the breaking news pivot to the penalty box. Some great lateral moves there by Temper Tantrum. Moving in to out, left to right. And Temper Tantrum are now battling a TRV tripod at the front, whilst Honeybee battling the breaking news tab at the back. That was a ginormous jam in any game of roller derby. 23 points added to the breaking news total, bringing them to 98. TRV currently on 20. We do have about 3¼ minutes left in this period.
We have Macatron and Jack Rabbit.
Fast run there down the outside by Macatron. Quick no pack call there allows Jack Rabbit to exit. You're not allowed to block, as we said earlier, in a no pack situation. Oh, bit of a leap and a hop there by Jack Rabbit. Oh, getting them their full complement of points. So that was a 4-4 jam. (102) plays 24. Oh. And it looks like we have to do a bit of a shout out. This is a debut game for Lady Killaton today.
We have Pins and Needles and Smiling Assassin.
Pins and Needles with a pirouette on the outside, and the Smiling Assassin with some lovely toe-stop steps down the outside.
It was someone that's not Dylan. No. I love you, koala. Okay, Jack Rabbit always has the biggest pants.
All right, so we had a few calls from the bench there, but both jammers choosing to move on with their lives and get some more points. Pack is moving quite briskly now. TRV decide to slow things down and set up a tripod at the back. Catch and knock out Smiling Assassin to the outside, whilst Honeybee is pushing forward. Oh, Pins and Needles, my apologies. Knocked down by one hit wonder. I think they have many. Oh, nuclear force out. My bad. And that is 8 points apiece for that jam. So these last couple of jams have been even, 4, 4, 8, 8. We are now at 110 to 32, and we only have less than a minute left in this half of roller derby.
We have Macatron and Temper Tantrum. What are you looking at this for?
And we have Macatron out on the lead. Approximately half a track behind, we have Temper Tantrum. So breaking news this time, setting up at the rearmost position in the pack. Macatron coming through butt first, because we do measure points when you pass somebody's hips. So putting your hips out first to get them past the opposing blocker's hips is a great way to maximise your points. And that was a 3-point jam to TRV. 35 points on the board for them. 110 plays 35. And we have made it to half time. So please be sure to check out the raffle and the stalls around and the bake sale today. If you want to grab one of the roller derby cheat sheets, you can find them at the front desk. And if you are wanting to join roller derby, talk to one of the Mildura roller derby peoples, or anybody from TRV will be able to point you in the right direction. And we'll see you back here in about 10, 12 minutes.
Temper Tantrum taking that inside line as we enter the second straightaway. TRV tripod reforms. Final tap there by 142 Mama Mayhem. And Temper Tantrum has completed their initial pass. Macatron completing a scoring pass. And calling it late before Temper Tantrum can enter the pack and score any points.
We have pins and needles and Jack Rabbit.
So these Honey Joys are very crunchy, and you'll have to excuse me for a second. But Jack Rabbit has come out with lead jam status. Approximately a third of a track behind is Pins and Needles. Breaking News move to the frontmost position in the pack to try and keep those points as far away from the TRV jammer as they can. And it works. 4 points on the board for Breaking News and no points there for TRV.
We have Smiling Assassin and...
That is Honeybee.
I was about to say that.
So this is a matchup we saw right back at the beginning. Didn't see it as much in the second quarter. And Smiling Assassin is lead. I'm going to actually say Smiling Assassin's lead jammer statistics would be pretty good for this game. They've managed to exit the pack first on almost every occasion. So our TRV tripod reforming, being broken up by the Breaking News blockers, and then reforming. And that will be a medical timeout. And we do have double whammy over with the first aiders. And we wish them the least. We wish them with being the minorest of things and a swift return to roller derby. And we have had a rolling whistle. The derby will continue. We have breaking news on 118, TRV on 39. Who's jamming?
Temper tantrum.
And we do have Honeybee sitting in the penalty box, so this is a power start for breaking news. Hit out there by Mama Mayhem, drawing back to turn 4. Some great coordinated O by breaking news, keeping the TRV blockers separated for a period of time. They now reform again at the front of the pack. And we do have Honeybee back from the penalty box. And another drawback for Temper Tantrum, this time by Corey. TRV tripod reforming at the rearmost position in the pack. And we have the TRV jammer pushing upon a very solid tripod. Up, all 4 blockers. Square of doom at the front. Breaking news now sending back their pivot to do a little bit of O, a little bit of offense there to help their jammer through. And a tips toe on their toe stops down that inside line, gets Temper Tantrum through. Lead jammer with over a minute taken. And Honeybee getting a forearms penalty. So if we use anything from our arms, and that gets us an advantage. So that can be pushing, holding. It's not allowed. Forearms penalty, using your lower arms to gain an advantage. TRV trying to speed up the pack. Temper Tantrum coming through to score some points. And that is the natural conclusion of the jam, I believe. I believe that was a full 2-minute jam. We had 4 more points added to the breaking news scoreboard, 122, place 39. We are having another official timeout for track repairs. It is a very important thing. Oh, and we have an official review by the white team. I will go in and have a listen. That was a very eloquent, very clearly stated official review.
What news do you have?
I have news. The TRV, no, yes. They would like that forearms penalty on their jammer reviewed. They believe that the hips of their jammer had passed the opposing blocker before the forearms were used, therefore it was incidental contact, and they believe the forearms penalty should be struck from the record.
I have no idea what you just said.
Your honesty is refreshing. So we're not allowed to use our forearms to get past people.
I realise that.
Perfect. And they're saying that the jammer didn't use their forearms till after they'd got past the person.
Wouldn't that still be your forearms?
No, you, because you only get a penalty if you use them to gain position or gain an advantage.
What does gain position mean?
So if you move forward through the pack, or if you pass somebody and get their point and you used your forearms to do it, that would be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas they're going to say they got past them first and then they, you know, touched them with the forearms, and so it was incidental.
Oh, they touched them. I thought you meant blah, blah, blah attack.
No, we don't attack at all in roller derby. Alrighty, they're talking about it. We're hearing the result.
What
was
is
the
this
outcome?
result?
It's a thumbs down. That was a thumbs down, everybody. That means the forearm penalty will stay. And TRV will lose their official review. And we are back with the derbies. Who's jamming? We've got Jack Rabbit up against Macatron. Macatron against a strong, solid tripod of breaking news at the back. And Jack Rabbit has popped out the front with lead jam status. And we've had the pack sort of change up the roles. We now have the TRV tripod at the back, holding Jack Rabbit, the rearmost position in the pack. Lady Killaton doing some great work there. Solid defense. Mama Mayhem at the top of the pack, just the two to beat. So whilst we said that you had to be within 10 feet of each other to be part of the pack, we have this thing called an engagement zone that appears on either side of the pack. Do you know how long the engagement zone goes for? Feet.
20 feet.
Yeah, so 20 feet either side of the pack. And we have this thing called the engagement zone, and you're still allowed to block, you're still allowed to assist, you're still allowed to play roller derby. So that's why you'll see people bridging out the front or the back of the pack, stopping themselves every 10 feet, allowing their other players to continue doing the stuff.
Mom, nice
Lovely timed
koala
hit
pet.
there by Rocky to the outside, forcing the call off. Still a very successful jam for breaking news. 9 points added to the scoreboard, 134 to 39. Who's jamming?
We have temper tantrum and pins and needles.
So pins and needles round the outside. Temper tantrum about 1/3 of the track behind. Bangers, bit of solo blocking there on pins and needles. Pins and needles through and calls. Was it in time, or did we have a point stop? We do have 1 point going to breaking news. And TRV getting their full 4. 44 points on the TRV board, 135 to breaking news. So while we do hear groups of 4 whistles at the end of a jam, the jam actually ends on the 4th whistle in that first group. So point scoring will stop after the first toot, 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 toot. And then the other ones are just to let everybody know, because derby's kind of loud and you're kind of focused and you sometimes miss that the jam is concluded.
How dare you? I was going to say that. You bad person.
And that is Smiling Assassin through with lead again. Florence the Machine knocking Macatron out there on that inside of turn 2 and drawing back. Reforms with their tripod. We have Corey up against Smiling Assassin, and then that looks like Rock as the last line of defence. Rock or Rocky, please let me know what pronunciation I should have there. Really quick change to offence there by the TRV skaters. Roller derby is one of those games where you're doing offense and defense at the same time, making it a very unique sport. And that is Smiling Assassin through for another 4 points, bringing their total to 8 for the Jam. Pack reforming there on turn 4. Side surf down the inside line by Smiling Assassin. Bit of a spin, rewarded with 4 points. And it does look like we have the TRV Jammer having their 7 penalties. And looks like they will be fouling out. That is Honeybee. And we have
Pins and needles and temper tantrum.
and Pins and Needles through for lead. Our TRV pivot there. Katie Pitt attempting to hold back Temper Tantrum. Bit of a chase down there by Mama Mayhem. Well, unfortunately for them, but very, very good knowledge of our pack and engagement zone. Stops before getting out of play. Keeping it legal, keeping it safe. And pack reforms on that second straightaway. Bangers coming in to do some offense for Temper Tantrum. Pins and Needles returning from the penalty box. Hitting a tripod of breaking news at the rearmost of the pack. And Pins and Needles completing their initial pass. Temper Tantrum being asked to call it by their bench, but unfortunately committing a cut track penalty. And the minute you commit that penalty, you lose your lead jam status. And so the jam continues. Pins and Needles recycled back, and our jam comes to its natural conclusion at the 2-minute mark. That was a 4-point jam for breaking news. And 3 points for TRV. 159 plays 47. We're about to head into our final quarter of roller derby with 16 and a bit minutes left on the period clock. This is a power start for, who's that jamming? Macatron out against TRV. Bit of a juke to the outside there, cuts back to the inside. Through for lead jammer. TRV attempting to slow the pack. Breaking news attempting to speed it up a little. And we had a no pack called We have Temper Tantrum returning to the penalty box with a cut track penalty. And Macatron coming around to score again, like you say, unopposed, but it's really not. There's a whole lot of breaking news blockers out there that are quite opposed to them scoring the points.
What does unopposed mean?
With nobody else to compete against. There is no opposition.
You're confused.
Some coordinated O there by TRV, attacking both sides of the breaking news tripod. Successful in this instance. TRV calling the jam with the breaking news jammer standing in the penalty box. That was a 12-point jam to Macatron. 59 points to 159. So what's the lead there? How much are breaking news leading by?
100.
Good job, maths kiddo. Who's jamming now? Oh, we have official timeout. Track repairs. Your safety matters.
Really? Does it?
Thank you, track repairers. We appreciate you.
Because they're. Well, anyway, why not? Let's just say the jam is randomly.
Oh, looks like we've had our jammer and pivot released from the penalty box. That must have happened just as the whistle blew, because we do have two jammers on the track. We do have a shout out for Jack Rabbit's koala pants.
Woo.
Love the koala pants, Jack Rabbit, says Miriam. Oh, look, there's a close-up of what's happening in the photo studio.
Dad.
So Hawkeye's doing a photo book project, Faces of Roller Derby. Oh.
Anyway, we have jamming. We have Jack Rabbit and Pins and Needles.
So rolling whistle, derby can recommence. TRV taking that back line. Nice tight wrap there at the front by breaking news. Bangers moving from inside to out to do a little bit of extra defense. Jack pushing to the out, then to the in. Scoots down that inside line and is lead jammer. Pins and Needles taking the inside line as well. Approximately half a track behind. Pack reforms and scrabbles for position. Jack through almost untouched. Bangers going in for Pins and Needles. Pins and Needles also through. Jack coming through for a second scoring pass. This time taking the outside line very successfully. And calling it. 8 points to 4. TRV moves to 63. News on 167. And we've had a matchup that we've seen a lot today. It is
Smiling Assassin and Macatron.
Macatron knocked to the inside there by Nuclear Force out, drawn back, and Smiling Assassin exits the front of the pack. Florence the Machine up against Macatron at the front. Macatron is out. Only 40 feet separating our jammers at this stage. The pack speeds up down the second straightaway. Smiling Assassin taking the inside line and sweeping to the outside. Through for the full 4. Able to score before Macatron can get any points. And we have a team timeout. This time going to breaking news. You want some more questions, Butterfly?
Yas.
So how many members, or what's the maximum number of skaters you can have on a roller derby team? What are you doing? Are you counting them? Are you cheating?
15.
15, that is correct. And if you've got like a tournament, a multi-day or a multi-game tournament, how many skaters can you have on your full list that we call a charter? Quizzical puppy dog look. It's got to be more than 15.
17.
It's 20. So you can have a charter of 20 for tournaments, 15
I was gonna say that.
on the day. All right, so these people standing and talking quite loudly at the track and using hand gestures and stuff, what are they called? Bench people, that is a good word for it.
Bench people.
And so two of them have got special names. What are they? We have a bench coach that's usually yelling the strategy type stuff.
And a bench manager.
Who's helping select who's going on the team out on the track each jam. Oh, we've got a change up in the jammers. Who's that?
Pins and needles and Florence the Machine.
Florence the Machine jamming for the first time today. And it is Pins and Needles, lead jammer down the inside line. Florence the Machine taking the out. About a third of a track separates our jammers. Pack speeds up. Slows down as we heads into turn 3. Pins and Needles getting through. Calling it off before Florence is able to score. That is a full 4 points to TRV, 67, 171 for breaking news. We have a shout out on the interwebs to my Salty Beach Griff. All right, who we got jamming this time, Bloods?
Jack Rabbit and Macatron.
So both these jammers working hard today, part of a 3-jammer lineup that we've seen from both teams. Macatron is out and clear, just nudging past Bangers to be lead jammer in this Jam 13 of period 2. And Jack Rabbit being held there by Corey. The tripod of TRV blockers reforms. And a lovely sneaky duck down the inside line completes Jack's initial pass. Macatron is through for the points. And calls, looks to the bench. Bench says call. 4 points to TRV, no points to breaking news. 71 to 171. We are maintaining our how big a lead?
100.
100-point lead.
Actually, I think I want to buy just how I can stick off those. And candy cane and more wrapping.
So we have about 10 minutes left in this game of roller derby. And lining up on the jammer line, we have
Smiling Assassin and Pins and Needles.
and breaking news taking the front area of the pack. TRV starting at the back but recycling to the front. It is Smiling Assassin through for lead again. They must have a percentage lead statistic in the high 90s, if not 100%. And they come around for a scoring pass. We have breaking news tripod reforming at the front. Breaking news doing a great job of getting it back together as they get discombobulated. And Pins and Needles now does come through on that inside line. TRV reforming their tripod, doing a great job of ignoring the coordinated offense that breaking news throws at them. Another 3 points though for Smiling Assassin in that pass. 7 more points on the board, 178 to 71.
We have jamming Kaiser Kapow and Macatron.
So another change up in jammers for breaking news. Keza Kapow. Definitely somebody we saw jam a lot last season of Statewide Stampede. And through on the outside. 100% lead jammer statistics there for Keza. Although hot on their heels is Macatron. TRV pushing through to have their tripod at the front. Breaking news. Knocked to the outside there by Corey. Keza calling it the fall and call maneuver. It's a classic. And how did the points fall out? We're having a white team timeout. And just waiting. That was 3 points on the board for TRV. No points for breaking news. If Corey managed to knock Keza out of bounds before Keza had passed Corey's hips, then you don't get the point. So TRV on 74. Northeast West Side 178.
We see over at the TRV bench that they're having a little dance party.
Yeah, Derby first, dance in second, but all part of a day at roller derby. And that was the rolling whistle. Dance party concludes, roller derby continues.
Oh, I like the dance party. That was fun.
There will be more dance parties during the day, guaranteed.
Yay!
Alrighty. TRV always first on the track. Their love of derby shining by their punctuality on lining up for the next jam. Who have we got?
We have a whistle.
Yes, we had 4 whistles.
Oops.
So we're still going to have the same jammers, so... Aha, the dance party continues.
Yay! That's very enthusiastic of me.
You still haven't told me who the jammers are.
Sorry, dance parties are fun, thank you.
Let's not interrupt the dance party with the names of the jammers.
Well, we have jamming pins and needles and temper tantrum.
So it wouldn't be a day of roller derby if the scoreboard didn't chuck a tantrum. At the end of the day, the scoreboard always wins. We have called in our first and second level of tech support. You know it's good when 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people are staring at the screen intently. The good news is that, like, our jam timer has their own stopwatch, and we do paperwork everywhere. So if we had to resuscitate the scoreboard, we 100% could from the available information. And we have Abby Normal going in there to clarify the change required on the scoreboard. She has a delightful knee scooter accessory this weekend. Everybody's going to want one after seeing how much fun they are.
It's bad for pain, but it's good for fun.
I don't feel I have the appropriate qualifications to be listening to this conversation.
It's very confusing.
Yep, it's all right. We've got another tech person in. All right, let's do some more derby questions.
Woo!
All right. Sorry. How many referees do we normally have in a game of roller derby?
7.
All right. Do you know what the positions of the referees are called? So you got 2 that are following the...
No, I don't even understand what you're saying, not what the thing is.
So there's 7 referees,
Yes.
and they've all got different jobs. Do you know what jobs they have?
There's a pack ref.
There is a pack
And
ref.
there's a jammer ref.
And there's 2 jammer refs.
True. And then there's people on the outside.
Called outer pack refs. Yes, 3 OPRs, 2 inside pack refs, 2 jammer refs. That is
I never knew they were called outer things.
outside pack refs.
Hey, you learn stuff
Something
every day.
Awesome. That is the rolling whistle. Our scoreboard timeout issue has been rectified, and we can continue with our last
Lost.
8 minutes of roller derby.
Yay.
And you told me that was pins and needles against Temper Tantrum.
Yep.
Pack being pushed slowly from that jammer line to the pivot line. And it is Temper Tantrum out as your lead jammer. Only 30 feet behind, though, is Pins and Needles. Pack is now stationary at turn 2. Changes at mind, starts moving down. TRV decide they want the front. Hit to the outside there by 106 Mad Splatter. 1 point to Breaking News, 1 point to TRV. And up jamming we have
Keza Kapow and Macatron.
so Kez's second jam for the game. Macatron, I think, has been out 1 in 3 the entire time. Keza trying for the outside line, pushing back into the middle. Macatron doing a little bit of defense there whilst pushing themselves forward into the Breaking News tripod. Macatron battling the pivot, and Macatron is lead, but has been overtaken by Keza. And Macatron calling it. Did they call it in time? And that is 1 point to Breaking News. So calling it off a little bit late there, losing 1 point to the opposing team. That's always a win. If you don't get lead and you get more points, you've definitely won that jam. Oh, I lied. 1 point each. Even Stevens, 180 to 76.
Can I say more?
Oh, that is a 2 points. We are just having an extra point dropped in there by Crush. And that is Smiling Assassin through. Again, such a high lead jam statistic for Smiling Assassin. They're having such success. And Needles, third of a track behind. And Florence the Machine destroying the TRV tripod at the back. Just as Pins and Needles enters, Smiling Assassin calls it off. Scoreboard says 5, but ghost points and jammer lap points are dead, so...
You can't get 5 if there's only 4 blockers on the track. That makes no
per
sense.
lap. I agree.
Unless you got 4 and then 1 point, but
Yeah,
I
but
don't
that was
think
only
they
one
did
pass,
that. Yeah, it was only 1 pass.
Oh, and we've got Keza out again. Third jam, around the outside, second lead jam status.
Oops, I'm having too fun talking about derby, they're not jammers.
Yeah, Macatron is out. TRV keeping that pack fast. Mama Mayhem saying, come up to me, come up to me. Hit on Keza by Corey to the outside. And that is another point-saving manoeuvre by Corey. 2 potato jam, 0-0. So breaking news leading 187 to 76. And we have just under 4 minutes of roller derby remaining.
We have jamming, temper tantrum, and pins and needles.
Hit to the inside and draw back there by Florence on pins and needles. Temper tantrum moving that TRV tripod inside to out. Rocky and the Mad Splatter. And that is temper tantrum out and lead. Another recycle there on pins and needles. And pins and needles has completed their initial pass. Temper tantrum knocked to the outside and drawn back by the Mad Splatter. Decides to call it. 3 points added to the breaking news tally, bringing them to 190. TRV on 76. As we come down to the final minutes of this game, who we got jamming?
Keza Kapow and Macatron. Why did I sound so quiet? I sound like a baby.
Keza Kapow pushing against a TRV tripod at the rearmost of the pack. And we have Macatron battling 4 breaking news blockers. Bit of assistance from Corey at the front, and Bangers heading to the back to help out Keza, and Macatron is lead.
I have a question.
Hit me up.
Would you get a penalty if, say, right, well, I know there's people lead, but if there was no one lead, like you were still, I don't know how to explain it, but like you like it just started and you end up accidentally or on purpose calling off, would you get a penalty?
Yeah, so if you're not the lead jammer and you successfully call off a jam, you will be penalised.
Or if it's the start and like...
Yep. So that was a 4-point jam for Macatron and TRV, bringing them to 80 points. Playing 190 of breaking news, and we have 1 minute 30 remaining in this game.
190. We have a Smiling Assassin and Pins and Needles.
High five there between the jammers, because that's like what roller derby is like, an amazing community. We're competitive, we're athletic, and we're a really amazing community. Smiling Assassin, I think that is the first time I have not seen you get lead. Sorry, Butterfly believes that's the second time. Still, these are some statistics you'll want to put up on your wall. A great day on the track for Smiling Assassin. Pins and Needles scoring some points. Using their teammates, pushing them through. Bench says to call. Did Smiling Assassin get in a sneaky point? Looks like one sneaky steely point by Smiling Assassin. And three points on the board there for TRV. 191 leads 83. Who's lined up now?
We have jamming, Keza Kapow and Macatron. Again.
So this matchup that we've seen for the last couple of times, Keza Kapow v Macatron. And Keza is through with lead this time. Macatron also now clear and able to score some points. Keza with a great sweep to the outside.
It
Comes by on a full 4 points.
It was like a little flick of your foot and then you made it out.
Yeah, yeah. And Keza calling it. We have an unofficial final score.
We have breaking news with 195 and TRV with 83. Well, that's the unofficial score. It might
Yeah,
be different.
so we've just got to wait for a rolling whistle while they dot their I's and cross their T's. But I do feel, even if the score changes slightly, we have a big congratulations to Breaking News on their victory today. And what a standout performance by all the skaters. Oh, look at the points per jam. It's so pretty.
And it is now a final
And that is
score.
our official score. Please do hang around. We obviously have a full day of roller derby ahead of us and another day tomorrow if you'd like to come on down. Check out our bake sale, the raffle, the stalls. Put your face into the roller derby faces book. I've been Harmon Miranda.
And I'm Butterfly.
And we'll see you again next time.
Bye.